Yep. There we go. Alright. That is one thing that is heartily annoying about OBS at times. For whatever reason, it sometimes likes to set to microphone default, even though there's only one microphone, but whatever. We are, of course, back with actual audio. Oh my god. Actually, looking like it's getting into the red line there. Let's turn that down just a little bit. Now, aren't I glad that... okay, let's take that back just a little bit. Okay, that should fix it, theoretically. Oh, dearie me. You know, if this were the future, nothing would work. And it seldom does. But, I'm glad it's something like this. Why is the armor just kind of bouncing around there? That's kind of weird. Okay, so this is a mod that I discovered not too long ago that looked fairly good. I've not actually played it like at all. I just tested to make sure it worked. And, well, here we are. Doom 3, Pray for Pain. I think it's kind of funny that the armor is just kind of bouncing. Oh my god, another panel! That's never happened a billion times before. I don't really know why the screen resolution looks so bad. I thought this was set to 1080, but I don't think it is. Yeah, well, more technical issues. I'm glad it's this rando mod and not Wolfenstein Youngblood. Originally, this week's live stream would have been of Wolfenstein Youngblood, but all my potential co-op partners are away at the moment. So, yeah, I'd be kind of all forlorn playing it by myself. Yeah, it's really weird seeing the little things just kind of bouncing. I'm not really sure why they do that. Finally, we get something to shoot. The only thing I kind of... Yeah, the game's pretty loud, as I can see. Wow, nothing is going right. But once again, at the very least, it's just... We're just going to turn it down. There we go. Just turn it all the way down. That's still loud. That's the one thing I didn't like about Doom 3 on PC. Getting the audio mix is terrible. It's like... The gun sounds are way too loud. There we go. I think we got that sorted. Oh, you got your headset. Very nice. Yeah, there are quite a few Wolfenstein games coming out. There's actually a VR Wolfenstein game that doesn't look too bad, but I just don't do that much VR. And I don't actually have a VR controller set up just yet, which you kind of need for that. This is evidently a Spanish mod. That's why you pick up Balas Pistol, which I assume means ball ammo for pistol. Also, dude, you need a little more than a wrench. You don't even have plasmids. One of these days, I really need to do a Bioshock review. That just looks so weird. The little armor bouncing up and down. It just seems kind of disconcerting. That's more creepy than the enemies. Just turned 18. My God. Well, if you think you're old now, just wait. Soon you'll be 30. Oh my God! And yeah, speaking of which, when I finally get around to doing this week's, not this week's, this month's monthly vlog, I'm actually going to touch on that. And his AI is broken. Either that or I'm super sneaky. I don't really know which. And I'm completely out of ammo, so now we're just going to get in a fucking punch-up. Actually, wait, no, don't worry about that. That guy had a lot of health for a zombie. Oh god, I'm gonna need to actually read the PDAs at some point. Maybe not. Maybe that's just like a secret that I don't really care about. If I can punch him! Wow, he did a lot of damage with that. That's the one problem with some mods. And also my fists do not appear to be connecting. Alright, let's go ahead and save. I hate to think I'd be killed by a basic zombie. Hey, yeah, this is sort of like me getting ready for Doom Eternal. Except, Doom 3 guy here is not quite the fighter that the Doomslayer is. And as for Doom Eternal, I have already pre-ordered the game. I'm not sure if it's going to be any good. We'll just have to wait and see. I do hope it actually is halfway decent. It might be. He has no audio logs, but his email might result in something. Red alert, security reasons, blah, 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 blah. Come on, give it the code. Give the bloody code, 472. There we go. You got 4, 7, and 2. And that unlocks. So it unlocks a cutscene. My God. It's like the future. Uh-oh. I can hear a Z-Sec. Too bad I don't actually have any ammo for any of my guns. Let me grab that. Hey, you actually get some pistol ammo. Also, all 12 rounds of it. Yeah, this isn't a bad mod so far. I love how, like, how nimble those Z-Secs are. They're just jumping over there like you wouldn't believe. Okay, I take it back. Doom 3 guy's pretty strong. I mean, he just fucking launched that guy. Let's go ahead and save, just in case. And hello, Vulcan. You encountered a game that you really wanted to play, but it's buggy or broken and incompatible. It's going to play it. There's a number of games like that. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is a game that I really wanted to play, but I could never get past the hotel segment. No matter what I do, it just keeps bugging out on me to the point where some dialogue won't trigger, thus making the game completely uncompletable. So, yeah, one day I will get that to work. There's some combination of mods that'll magically make it function, but I have not found that particular combo just yet. But yeah, Doom Eternal is going to be an interesting experience. That pistol's just bouncing around. That just looks so weird. It looks so silly. But Doom Eternal, I'm hoping. Okay, this is actually a legitimately creepy scene here. The modder did a really good job on that. Now, why he has things like bouncing around, I'm not really sure, but that was pretty cool. That was really quite impressive for what it was. Now, next week, I do intend to do, or I intend to, we'll just have to see if the schedules will work. I do intend to do next week the Wolfenstein Youngblood. I don't know how SJW it's going to be. We'll just have to wait and see. It looks kind of SJW, to be perfectly honest, but, yeah. Maybe it'll be halfway decent. Maybe. Well, what an idiot. Wow, of course, phase to the floor. What an asshole. When it comes to Wolfenstein, though, it's like, for a while, no one even really cared about it. It was like, Wolfenstein Return to Castle. Like, that came out in 2004, and then there was nothing else for, like, 10 years. And now with, like, New Order, they're just churning them out like you wouldn't believe. Oh, it's like the mod broken. Because I really don't know where... Oh, the door just magically works. Brilliant. Just fucking brilliant. Let's see here. Youngblood, Borderlands, but National Socialist. Well, yeah, that's Wolfenstein 2009, which wasn't that amazing. Well, I don't remember it being that amazing. Maybe it's better than I recall. I do intend to do a review of that in 2020. It's kind of far down on the list because I don't really care that much about it. But, yeah, I did test Wolfenstein Youngblood. And I could already tell that it was going to definitely be a looter-shooter kind of thing. Because the first guy I shot, he just ate like 3 SMG rounds and didn't die. And I could see the little health thing. And I did hear that there was going to be a microtransaction thing where you could buy gold to upgrade your guns. It's like, oh god, thanks EA. Thanks EA for ruining everything. We're already, you know, Doom Eternal. The only reason I pre-ordered it was primarily because I just wanted to not have to worry about paying for it in November. But like with that, it's like, the pre-order bonus! You get like a shotgun skin! Oh, that's great. That's fucking brilliant. I mean, like, a shotgun skin. At least with Youngblood, you do have that buddy pass, which I think is a really cool concept. Just the whole idea that the other person doesn't have to have the game. And it's not just one person that can use it either. It's like, that is a pretty cool concept. Now, I think what they're hoping, at least, is that a lot of people will, you know, buy the microtransactions. I do hope the game isn't unplayable without, you know, spending real money. Because if it is, then screw Bethesda even more so than already. Yes, I am going to make a series of Doom Eternal, like when it comes out. Oh, you still haven't gotten Republic Commando to work. That is weird. The intros and menus stay broken. That is strange. It shouldn't be doing that, actually. Jaws at a drive-in. That sounds pretty cool. I don't think I've actually seen Jaws all the way through. At least I don't remember seeing it. I might have. Finally, we got an imp, and he was utterly worthless. I don't think I've actually seen Jaws all the way through. The only one I've seen on multiple occasions is Jaws: The Revenge, and that's because I was at a location where that was the only thing to watch. So it's kind of a captive audience on that one. And yeah, Doom 2016 is on sale for cheap. I'm actually going to replay that in preparation for Doom Eternal. I've already done a Let's Play of that. In fact, I kind of did an aborted Let's Play when I had a different graphics card. But I did a full one with the RX 480. And I do intend to do an actual live stream series of Doom 2016, just so I can give my current opinion on it. Doom 2016 really isn't that amazing. I mean, it's not bad, but it's just not as good as I think. I think it's one of the few games in recent years that isn't a piece of crap, but it still doesn't mean it's the greatest game ever made, or even a particularly good Doom game. I would actually rate it far lower than Doom 3 even. And the reason I'd say that is just the level design is really really boring. The story is actually the best aspect of Doom 2016 to me, at least. But the gameplay isn't particularly inspired. The constant arenas just really gets boring. Now, Doom 2016, I'm going to mention this in that live stream. I think I'm going to live stream it in October instead of like a horror game or something. And the thing about Doom 2016 is it really gets dull very fast, just because it's pretty much the same crap over and over again. It's kill all enemies until, you can progress. Whereas when you have a dynamic level like this, you're constantly exploring new areas. And these levels are actually not too bad. I'm quite enjoying this mod here, but it's just Doom 2016 is good. Doom 2016 is an example of a modern game where if you play it more than once, you're not going to like it on like the third playthrough. Whereas Doom 3, I played this kind of gameplay literally for over a decade, and I'm still enjoying it quite a bit. Whereas Doom 2016, it's not the same, and the glory kill system wasn't bad, but it was way overused. This guy's AI is just horribly broken. Oh, no, he finally attacked. I spoke too soon. Let's see here. And yes, it's going to just be me, Epic Jason. Doom 2 on Switch. Very nice. Dark Forces 2. Oh, I mentioned that in the review. The reason it wasn't a live stream last week is because I've been working on Dark Forces 2, the review. Script's about 12 pages. I have to do the audio and video tomorrow night. Or not tomorrow night, but just tomorrow. But, by God, that game took forever to get working. There's a number of different fixes for it that aren't on the PC Game Wiki. So it's not that hard to get working, but yeah, it's very difficult to get working compared to, say, Jedi Academy or Jedi Knight 2. Jedi Knight 1 is still worth playing, though, despite how difficult it is, because it's actually my favorite of all the Dark Forces games. It's not often discussed just because of how difficult it is to get working, but once you can get it working and get the graphics patched and things of that nature, you'll find it's actually a bit deeper than Jedi Knight 2 and Jedi Academy. It's just one of those sad games that just... It was a late 90s game, and late 90s games are notoriously difficult to get working. And also, Jedi Knight 1, it was a difficult game to actually get a hold of for a while. When I did my initial review for CGR, I had to use my original disc copy because the Steam version was so messed up. The Steam version was so lazily ported. They were going to just wail on me because I could have get raped in a corner. But yeah, Jedi Knight 1 is very much worth playing, even though it's quite annoying to get working. And yeah, once you have seen a Glory Kill, you've seen them all. Doom 1 on PS4 is unfortunately a bad port. Stretched to 16... I always find it funny when certain systems just cannot run Doom 1. It's very weird. And Glad you like the stuff, Mike K. Oh, Final Doom. I'll get to that eventually. Epic Jason, I'm just going to be doing solo tonight, just because I'm only going to really be doing this for about an hour. Explaining how to get Dark Forces 2 working, that is not an easy prospect. And the review's long enough as it is. I am going to include links to the different fixes you can get for it. Because there's some fixes that will work better than others, and some fixes that are newer than others. So it's just, it really depends on what sort of system you're running. It's one of those games that it would be nice if it could get some sort of remastering, even though that'll never happen. Just because it is a game that just really cries out for one, because it is really aggravating. Gotta love that shadow work. Even though his AI was broken, but whatever. I find the sludge in this to be kind of hilarious, though. It's literally just, you know, little green blobs. It always looked kind of crappy. But there's a lot of good mods for Dark Forces 2, aka Jedi Knight 1, that really do make it look a lot better than a late 90s game, because late 90s games never looked good. I mean, Quake 1 never looked good. Even back in the day, it looked bad. And Jedi Knight 1 looked bad back in the late 90s. I mean, for me, I was always like, why does the newer game look worse than the older one? Because, yeah, late 90s graphics have not aged gracefully. Quake 2 is probably one of the few late 90s games that still looks, you know, passable. It's really one of those things where, like this game. Oh, yeah. Hey, I think they put a Betruger face on that. That looks kind of like a Betruger face. Could be wrong, though. And yes, Doom 2016 is worth the sale price. This is, but... I didn't have enough time for Mysteries of the Sith. That's going to have to be its own video. Raspberry Pi. Oh, yeah, some of the FOV fixes, yeah, will not work when it comes to Dark Forces 2. But yeah, let's see. Epic Jason, you can join the chat next week when there's going to be, hopefully, more people. It's just this week, I'm just going to keep it kind of solo. Especially since I don't really have that much time. It's just one of those aspects. You gotta love how, you know, Doom 3 guy can climb up a ladder with a chainsaw in his hands. He is just that well-balanced. Speaking of well-balanced, eventually I'm going to be doing a video on a Ruger Standard, because I finally picked one up after all these years. KTIT. Oh, K-Tit! Playing the best tunes in town. Epic Jason, what you're going to want to get for GoldenEye is you're going to want the mouse injector. I've not actually used that yet, but it looks really quite cool and means you can actually control it a little bit better. Just Google it, GoldenEye mouse injector, and it's pretty easy to find. I found it literally within like 5 seconds. And it's quite interesting to see a lot of these old console games be given mouse injectors. I just haven't had the time to actually try any of them. One of the ones that I do want to try to play with a mouse injector is Time Splitters, both Future Perfect and Time Splitters 1 and 2. Let's see, new password for storage, 436. 436, there we go. Because Time Splitters, I've played Time Splitters on both the PS2 and the GameCube. The PS2 version controls a lot better than the GameCube, I can tell you that. Trying to play Time Splitters with a GameCube controller is an exercise in absolute frustration, because it's not really designed for really precise targeting, at least as far as I can tell. And so I tried to play that co-op once. It just made me want to throw the fucking game out the window. Oh, we got a cutscene here! Doom guy walking. Actually, it doesn't look that bad, but this is very much a gameplay mod. Okay, let's save. Keep it in hand solo. Carriage. They needed to have a unique name for Doom Eternal. Doom 3 is very much worth playing. It is worth acquiring. Besides, how can you actually go to KTIT? Because they play the best tunes in town. Or the best tunes in town. I don't know which. Oh, radio stations. That was a thing. Now, alas, radio is pretty much dead. I mean, radio has been slowly dying for years. I don't get the point of Sirius satellite radio. It's like, that's such a massive waste of money when you could just, plug in a phone. That's what I do. Yeah, there's Spotify and Google Music and crap like that. For me, I'm happy just to, have fucking MP3s. And I've been happy to do that literally for almost 20 years now, because I hate having someone else control my music, because they usually pick shit songs. Alright, so Doom 2016. We can't have a good live stream unless we talk about Doom 2016 some more. Without mod support, with mod support, it could actually be turned into something halfway decent, but without it, it just is a typical modern game that just does not stand up to repeated playthroughs. At least as far as I'm concerned. Oh no, is this going to be one of those levels where you have to, guess the pixel? Also, why is there a floating trash can? And, I'm such a fucking nerd. I know that those little fly pixels are from Quake 2. Yes, I know that. Why? Okay, that's a decent puzzle, I suppose. That's not really a puzzle, but I guess that works. Yeah, this mod's simple, but it works. It's one of those things where I played a lot worse mods, and this one at least, it uses the game engine pretty well, and it doesn't get boring or overly... Wow, that guy just fucking charged in there, didn't he? Yeah, this might be a little better in terms of gameplay, but you don't have the classic Doom 3 shotgun skin. That's a pre-order bonus? Oh my god. Now back to Jedi Knight 1. One of the reasons why the review took so long to actually write was due to the fact that I had to actually read the novellas. Or the novellas. There were actual novellas released for Jedi Knight 1. No one ever talked about them. They never really got any advertisement at all. They're technically not part of the EU for some reason. Hey, we got a Duke door. But yeah, they're technically not part of the EU. They were never mentioned in the old EU listings. And I'm not really sure why. I mean, they're not canon. I mean, they follow the game pretty well, and yeah, I mean, they're not as good as the game, though, in terms of story. I do mention this in the review. Wow, this guy's just completely kicking my ass. Wow, we've got, I don't even know what graphics these are from. That looks like that might be like a Wolfenstein lamp, kind of turned into a Doom 3 graphic. Wow, the graphics have certainly become somewhat interesting, haven't they? Let's see. Controller. Where do I buy my ammo? In real life, SG ammo. Look them up. They're pretty good. The prices aren't bad, but just keep in mind that if you're going to buy ammo online, you have to be in a state that allows it. And since thankfully I live in a non-communist state, I can. But you're also going to pay massive amounts of shipping. No matter how much ammo you actually get, you're always going to pretty much have to pay about $12 for shipping. Which is kind of annoying, but that's just what you do. SG Ammo has a lot of good prices on some of the more esoteric rounds, like 303 British. So, I happen to be a big fan of them. Shipping time is pretty good. Now, when it comes to buying guns online, I do kind of recommend Bud's Gun Shop. They're a little more expensive than some other places, but ultimately, you don't really have to pay an outrageous shipping fee. When I got my Star, I bought that from a place called J&G Sales. They charged $29 to ship that pistol. $29! So you might pay a little more with Bud's Gun Shop, but ultimately you do end up saving quite a bit, at least I did. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of people did get on their knees for Doom 2016, because, after you've had to review, Call of Duty number 296, or yet another crappy modern game. You know, it's like, it was sort of a breath of fresh air, but, you know, ultimately it was very much a silicone breath of fresh air. I mean, it was a perfectly made spheroid, and not at all fleshy like one should be. See, I would take this over Doom 2016 any day. Not to say that Doom 2016 is bad, but this just has a much more enjoyable kind of gameplay than that, even though the trash cans float above the ground. I'm just going to assume that trash can has been possessed by a demon, and it is floating of its own volition. Let's see, hold on. I think it would be a bad thing if Texas was its own country. I mean, it sounds good in theory, but in practice, yeah, that'd be pretty bad. Just because of, you know, economic issues and things of that nature. You know, you'd have to have your own standing military and that. And then there's issues with interstate trade. It all sounds cool until you actually look at the logistics of it. It's just one of those things. Real life is so much more messy than fiction or lofty ideals. That's the one thing you'll find out when you hit 30, is that real life is difficult. Hey, welcome to life. I'll check the chat in just a second. Golden Doom or Doom and I don't remember which one that I like. I haven't played either one of those in many years. I played one online once. I think where you actually use GoldenEye weapons. I don't remember which one that is, though. I can never find that mod, actually, but I quite liked it. I played that online deathmatch about 10 years ago. And I found it to be quite fun. What was kind of interesting about that particular time I played that online was that almost immediately, this was back when I had like less than 200 subs, somebody in that game actually recognized me. Which I think is so awesome to this day. It's like, wow, I was actually famous. Famous enough, wow, that's a real chunky letter. Famous enough that somebody randomly in a Doom game recognized me. It was like the greatest thing ever at that time. It still is pretty cool to this day. Yeah, the box art is kind of generic. Doom 2016 is decent. And hello, Daniel Taylor. Also, you gotta love that cutscene there. You know, Doom guy just kind of walks around. This is still better than Half-Life 3 Episode 3. Oh, Half-Life 2. You know, I cannot wait to savage that game, but I can just imagine myself getting savaged in the bloody comments. You know, if we look at games from the late 90s, everyone always talks about Half-Life 1. And Half-Life 1 is a good game. I'm not gonna knock it too much, but I would take Jedi Knight 2 over Half-Life 1 any day. And I'm glad that I did not play Half-Life 1 back then. I'm glad I played Jedi Knight 1. Because Jedi Knight 1 is just a better game in terms of story, gameplay, and things of that nature. Yeah, it doesn't have the physics, but I will always choose Kyle Katarn's beard over Gordy Freeman's beard any day. And also FMV cutscenes. Although, I do mention this in the review, Kyle Katarn in Jedi Knight 1 is really trying to act a lot like William Riker, which I think is absolutely hilarious. And I'm being shot to pieces again? Because I'm always being shot to pieces. I swear, this has got... the screen resolution for this is terrible, and I have no idea why. Snap map is nothing. Yes, deep fried in the comments. Just savaged unmercifully. It's like, Snap map is literally nothing. Okay, think about this for a moment. Snap map is basically... what you got with the Time Splitters games back in the early 2000s. It is literally nothing worthy of note, like, at all. Oh, we got a thing here. Okay. Do I have a PDA to... You know it will happen. You know it's near. You know it is inevitable. You know we will domain all of you. You know you'll die. You know we are Legion. You know 691 is the number 4. C6. We know that there is a lot of English. All this is a Spanish game mod, so I'm assuming it's Spanglish. Where the hell map looks pretty cool. Yeah, this is not bad for a mod. I mean, when you think about some of the stuff that is actually, you know, sold commercially, this is actually quite good. It is quite good for what it is. One thing that is also quite cool about November is I'm going to be getting a repro cart of Shadows of the Empire. That was being sold, I actually don't even know where it was sold. A friend of mine told me about it and snagged me one. Or snagged me a pre-order for one, which I heartily appreciate. Because I am a big fan of Shadows of the Empire. I'm not actually going to open it up, and I don't really need a repro of that game because I already have my original copy, but I like the idea of having a repro of that. It's pretty neat. There's been a number of repros of old Star Wars games, most notably the Game Boy version and the NES version of Star Wars. The original, well, not the original, but the American version of Star Wars, not the Namco weird one. I would like to get, if they actually did a repro of the Namco weird one, I would totally get that. Because that game is glorious. Uh-oh. I'm guessing I have to kill those pinkies. I'm guessing. I don't really know for sure. Ah, crap. Come on. Come on. Okay, yeah, that is all I needed to do. I almost became a Doom Guy sandwich. Open-faced Doom Guy Club sandwich. I totally need more water, but I have no one to carry on in my absence. But yeah, 22 caliber pistols, ladies and gentlemen, randomly, before I check the chat. You know, the Ruger Standard is not cheap. It's like, to put that in perspective, I was able to get an MP40 for less than I paid for that Ruger Standard. It is ridiculous how expensive that thing is. And originally, the MP, or not the MP, but the Ruger Standard, was supposed to be a budget pistol. And it's not a budget anymore, but, yeah. And his AI broke, much to my benefit. Let's check the old chat here. Halo's just kind of basic. Well, see, Star Wars is a joke now, but it wasn't always. And I don't care about modern Star Wars, but I've started a reread of the original EU. And it's just so sad what not Lucasfilm, what Disney has done to Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars used to be great. I mean, it used to be cool. Oh, crap, run. It used to be cool, but then it got the two-weapon rule, and it just wasn't the same sense. Descent to death! Accused about patient maltreatment and dark rituals. Oh, yeah, the dark rituals. I don't know. However, some neighbors near the building claim that activities never stopped. That's mostly English. Mostly. It's like dark rituals, huh? I mean, is that really a common crime at mental institutions? Maybe in the Doom universe. Or the Outlast universe. I'm really looking forward to finally playing Outlast in VR. Because I'm sure there's a mod for that. And my cheap VR setup would actually be kind of cool. You know, it's like, to have that plus, you know, like the Wii motion controls, that would be extraordinarily creepy. Necesitas alave azul. I understood azul. Evidently that means blue, but still. So I need a blue something. Doom Nukem. And yes, the Legend EU is the true canon. Star Wars. Yeah, I've read both of Alan Dean Foster's Star Wars books. I think Alan Dean Foster also wrote Episode 7 as well, but I refuse to ever read anything associated with the crappy Disney canon. Book 1 of Star Wars is actually surprisingly good. Now, of course, it says George Lucas on there, but we all know it's Alan Dean Foster, especially if you've ever read anything of his. And Book 1 is actually quite good. The very first Star Wars book ever written is actually pretty high quality. It even has a moment where, like, the narrator opines that no one really knows the extent of machine intelligence. Yeah, droids are treated like crap in Star Wars for really no appreciable reason. Then, of course, there's Splinter of Mind's Eye. That's the one. And Splinter of Mind's Eye is not very good, but it's not very bad either. It is very much a product of the late 70s. It feels like a late 70s novel. And you can also tell that it was designed to be a low-budget version of Star Wars because, Han Solo's not there. They're on one planet, and the planet is boring. And, you got, like, Luke and Leia, kind of being creepy, even though, well, I'm going to die from that guy. I almost died from a bloody chainsaw guy. I should actually pull out my chainsaw and cut him up, but oh well. But, that's one of the things where that novel was written before, Luke and Leia were supposed to be siblings. So you have some of that romantic tension. And there's actually kind of a creepy scene where, oh, I guess I'm supposed to fall on that. Oh, God, please tell me I'm not screwed. Please tell me I'm not screwed. GCNRE, I don't even know what that is. Outlast is just pretty fun. In terms of, like, scares. But yeah, you can't really fight back in that. Doom 1 and 2 has Bethesda count DRM? Wow, that's terrible. How many years? I would say Star Wars is pretty much dead now. I mean, no one really... It's not that... Star Wars used to be one of the biggest franchises, like, ever. It was like... It was the franchise that all other franchises aspired to be. And now it rates less than Marvel. And so I see Star Wars just sort of like falling for the popular consciousness. I mean, that's happened before. After Return of the Jedi, no one really cared about it again for some reason. And now it's just like there's nothing... Outside of the old EU and the old properties like that, there's really no reason to even like Star Wars. I mean, the characters are all gone. The writing is just SJW standard. Rey is a cardboard cutout. I mean, it's like there's nothing left for Star Wars to. There's no place left for Star Wars to go. I mean, I certainly don't foresee, any of the people at Disney, making the Star Wars movie that people actually want to see. I mean, CBS kind of did that with Picard. I mean, Picard looks like something that fans would actually want to see. Picard is actually acting like Captain Picard would. You're bringing back characters that people actually give a damn about. No more Michael Burnham. But I don't see them just recasting, Han and Luke and making the Thrawn trilogy. I'm actually going to end up reading some of the bits of the EU that I thought were pretty bad. I'm actually going to read the Fate of the Jedi series of novels. Initially, they looked pretty bad, but I'm kind of... Basically, I'm kind of desperate for books right now. Books that I actually, give a shit about. So, I'm going to give those a try and see if they're actually any good. Around 2008, I pretty much stopped caring about Star Wars books once they killed off Mara Jade. Yeah, but now I'm really tempted to see where they went with it. The big problem with the latter-day EU was they introduced a character called Abeloth, which was more fitting with Warhammer 40k than Star Wars. But since I've got nothing else better to read, I'm going to give it a try, see what it looks like. Maybe it's good. Maybe. But I'm kind of dubious on that. Kamen Rider Garo. I have no idea where they went with that series. Crystal Star, I have that. That's got the meat alien in it, I think. And, Crystal Star was one of those where the big problem with the EU, both early and kind of late... Well, actually, the big problem with the early EU was they farmed it out to everybody. And so once you got away from, the actual good writers, you'd get weird crap like that. If I'm not mistaken, Barbara Hambly's work wasn't particularly good either. And Kevin J. Anderson, I'm not really sure why he... I could have just got this out and started cutting literally everything up. Now, these zombies are legitimately creepy. And they got another flaming zombie. It's like, they're clones! Another problem, of course, was the novels based upon that atrocious Clone Wars CGI series. I know people like it, but Ashoka, really? So there was another secret apprentice? Why was this never mentioned before? I did try to read the Clone Wars novelization, by which I mean the TV show novelization. It wasn't very good. You know, like the whole plot about Jabba's kid getting kidnapped. Like, really? That's the best they've got at this point? But whatever. The worst of the old EU is still better than the best of the current EU. You know, this is actually kind of creepy. I mean, it's not... I can obviously tell it's a very simple concept, but it's actually legitimately creepy. Those V-Wings are difficult to get. And yeah, the Doom 3 shotgun is kind of weak. I would recommend, if you want to improve your Doom skills, get the classic Doom WAD Kama Sutra. It is extraordinarily difficult and pretty fun, actually. I discovered that one quite by random. Yeah, a lot of those classic Doom WADs are extraordinarily difficult. Also, I'd recommend Scythe 1 and 2. Oh, we got an invisible busted. Well, let's just cut him up. Or I might die. Let's see. We got plenty of SMG ammo, so let's just use some of that. But yeah, the Kama Sutra wad's pretty good. Scythe 1 and 2 are also quite good. If I'm not mistaken, Scythe 2 has a Doom 1 remake of the first level of Quake 1. And those late 90s graphics were just atrociously bad, though. I mean, Quake 1 didn't look that bad, but it has certainly aged for more than Quake 2. I do not know where I saved. Please tell me. Oh, good. It's like, please tell me I didn't save that far back. Let's see. Written by the guy who wrote Monsters, that Monster Hunter fanfic. Yes, oh my god. If John Ringo wrote a Star Wars book, oh, that would just be, I mean, he would have his own self-insert for one. He'd be, actually, oh my god, okay, here's the thing. A John Ringo Star Wars book would be almost entirely like Force Awakens, except Rey's character would actually be named Rey. It'd be a guy, and it would be exactly the same. Cardboard cutout, good at everything, better at flying the Falcon, you know, all of that. I guarantee you it would be exactly the same thing. And also he'd sleep with everything that could move. Like all the Twi'leks. Like literally the entire population of the planet of Royloth, the guy would sleep with. So yeah, more or less, you know, Force Awakens. More or less. Let's see. Custom Lego MOC. I've played a number of Doom 3D user maps, but not nearly as many as Doom maps. Let's see. But yeah, QuakeCon is going on as I play this particular game. I've never actually been to QuakeCon, even though it takes place in Texas. I just don't really have a portable computer for that, and I really don't want to have to try to take this desktop there. I mean, this thing's positively massive. If you're ever looking for a computer case that has really good cooling, I would recommend the Cooler Master HAF. HAF. It's a little pricey, but I'm a big fan of it. It's all... Ooh, we get a little secret, don't we? The blue armor! Oh my god! Oh crap, how do I get out of here? Oh, there we go. Do I, like, shoot it? No, okay, no. So we've got the mega armor, even though it still just gives us 100, so it's not really that great. Scythe 2 map design is wonderful. Yes, Scythe 2 is quite good indeed. You know, that's the thing. Ooh, making like Saving Private Ryan. That would actually be pretty cool. Yeah, the Terminator Future War stuff has never been done particularly well. Okay, that actually looks legitimately cool. I think we're getting close to the end of the map. Quake 2 Rampage. I've never even heard of that. I haven't done that much Quake 2 modding, or any. I've just got the like Quake version 4.0 patch that actually fixes screen resolution and things of that nature. The only modding I've really gotten into is like you know, Doom 3 modding and Doom 1 modding. Those Hell Knights looked a lot like the Hell Knights in Doom 2016, which is quite surprising. I wonder if the modder was inspired by those, or if if Doom 2016 was inspired. I just don't know which. Oh, the demonic castle feel. You know, Doom 2 isn't bad, but it goes on a little over long. Quake 2 RTX, yeah, I don't think I'm going to get that running anytime soon. Oh, crap. Ooh, this is kind of cool. I'm such a nerd. The little stone sound effects, I know where those are from. These are from Oblivion, actually. Oh, evidently there's going to be an Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, it's going to be, like, you literally don't even have dialogue options anymore, I bet. I don't know, modern games are just things I don't really care that much about. I'm not even particularly excited for Cyberpunk 2077, just because I'm not... This will sound heretical. I don't really like CD Projekt Red's games all that much. It's not that they're bad, it's just that's not really my kind of RPG. I'm more into the BioWare / Obsidian. BioWare / Obsidian style. Although BioWare's dead and Obsidian kind of isn't. I am looking forward to that sci-fi RPG they're doing, but one of the things that kind of disappoints me about that sci-fi RPG is that it's not going to really be an RPG. It's going to just be, you know, another, you know, kind of like third-person game with a few RPG elements. I want a bloody KOTOR 2 styled RPG, goddammit. Or at the very least, a Mass Effect 1 styled RPG. Which I know I'm never going to get, but that's really what I want to bloody well play. It's like, all the games I want are never going to come out again. And it fucking sucks. And I'm going to die. Actually, no, I'm not. Aha! Chainsaw, motherfucker! I'm down to 5 health, but I don't care. Be nice if I had regenerative health. Why? Because that means I wouldn't have to try. Oh, wait. Oh, his AI actually woke up just in time for me to chainsaw him to death. Or not. Okay, that was a bad idea. Just fucking kill me. Really? It took him that long? What an asshole. A Jurassic Park first-person shooter. That might not be too bad. What you play as biological creatures? Oh, that Doom movie. That implies that that would require me watching that piece of shit again. And you know what? I've already made a review of the Doom movie. Too bad I can't ever keep it up for very long because the bloody YouTube keeps taking it down. Oh, that movie was just... I knew it was going to be bad before it ever came out, just because I read the book. Because, yes, I read the book. I was that big a fan of Doom that I was going to read the book. And the book was terrible, and the movie was even worse. And Doom, Armageddon, Annihilation, or whatever the fuck that movie's called, looks like it's going to be even worse. I mean, it looks like the budget's even lower. It's like, how hard is it to make a Doom film? You know, you have Doom guy. He kills the demons. That's it. It's like, how do you mess this up? Why do you mess this up? I mean, with a halfway competent writer and director, you could actually have a film that people would say, oh, it's kind of stupid, but it's fun. I don't know if Carl Urban would have been my first choice as the Doom guy. I mean, come on. Why not have The Rock? I mean, why would you hire The Rock to be in your Doom film and not have him be the Doom guy? You know, it's kind of like, you know, if you'd cast Arnold Schwarzenegger in that film, and instead Doom Guy was played by Rob Schneider or something along those lines. Or Rick Moranis. Okay, maybe that might be funny. A Rick Moranis Doom Guy. I actually want to see this. I want to see the universe where Rick Moranis is the Doom Guy. It could work. Terribly. Yeah, but I got a fucking plasma rifle! Stop hentai attacking me. Hintack. Oh, and Doom Annihilation. You know, I don't understand why people do like the Doom film. I've known multiple people who see it as a guilty pleasure. There is nothing redeeming about that film. Not one thing. It's not entertaining. The characters don't have any good lines. It drags and drags and drags. It's like I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's like it is the quintessential bad film. Like, there is literally nothing funny about it. There's literally nothing good about it. You know, it's kind of like... It doesn't even have any, like, weird moments in it. It is literally nothing. It is just literally one of the worst films I have ever seen. Because it just has zero redeeming qualities whatsoever. Okay, we need to save because we're down to 5 health. Okay, we got some maggots. I always love that. God damn it. And yeah, Arnold would have been the greatest Doom Guy ever, but alas, we shall never see that in our lifetimes. Mainly because Arnold is very, very old now. See, that's the thing. You could have made a Doom film in the early 90s. It would have been very easy. You could have had Schwarzenegger as Doom Guy, base it off of the Doom novels, and boom, you've got a film that would be a fairly popular action film. I mean, that's just one of those things where it's like, why not do this? It's kind of like RoboCop versus the Terminator. That could have potentially been a film in the early 90s. I mean, who would not have wanted to see the RoboCop and the Terminator fighting one another? Oh god, we got a fucking Revenant. This is still my favorite version of the Revenant. The Doom 2016 version just really isn't that impressive. I literally can see nothing because the screen resolution for some reason seems fucked. I'd love to know what caused that. Maybe it's the mod. It won't display in like 1080. At least that's what I'm going to blame it on. Let's see. Yeah, there are multiple Doom novels. I've actually reviewed the first one. Doom Guy in the Doom novels is named Flynn Taggart, and it's written from a first-person perspective. It's actually they're actually surprisingly well written. Doom 2 also has a novelization that more or less follows the game. Well, okay, the game didn't have much story, so it has to invent everything. And actually introduces Mormons. I'm not even joking. Mormons play a big role in that. And then there's like a female teen sidekick named Jill that shows up, who's really not that bad. And then the third novel is completely its own thing, because it's not based on any game, where they go to space and time dilation, yeah. And then the fourth novel has one of the most ambiguous endings of all time. Basically, Doom Guy shows up at Earth, society has fallen again, and he's got to figure out how to rebuild it, the end. And then there's like a virtual Doom Guy who's stuck inside of a computer, and basically he imagines that there's never even been a demon invasion. It's one of those, like, I think the writers ran out of ideas, and it's like, okay, why don't we just be a little weird? I like how that guy just completely disappeared. Let's see. Oh yeah, you're the disease cure. That's great. An interesting Doom 3 guy. Yeah, he's a little too tall for that. But yeah, I mean the Doom novelizations aren't bad. There's some Doom 3 novelizations as well. There's 2. The first one's pretty good, but doesn't actually novelize the events of the game. It just novelizes the events leading up to it. Doom 3 guy gets a name in that, and he's named John Kane. So I'm always assuming he's like the great-grandfather of Matthew Kane in Quake 4. The second novel novelizes the game, but changes literally everything about the game. You know, the demons now are very different. The entire Mars City does not get overrun. In fact, the whole invasion is basically stopped, not even by Doom Guy. Also, Doom Guy gets his leg blown off and sent back to Earth, because, yeah, of course he does. It was particularly poorly written, and, yeah, just not good. Not good at all. It kind of sucks, because the first one was quite good. What's really kind of ironic, though, is those Doom 3 novels were released about 5 years after the original game. I'm not really sure why they did that. It seems kind of random to me. It's like, that's the best you got? One of the weakest enemies in the game? I'm scared now. Come on, get through the door! That is not a good weapon for that guy. And I'm completely out of chain gun, so let's just circle strafe as we often like to do. Doom 2016 just is a bit dull, a bit boring. Perfect hatred from thy flesh consumed. I do not remember that map. I have not played much of thy flesh consumed. Because I never had that back in the day, and by the time, you know, I was able to play it, I didn't find it that amazing, and I already had, you know, other Doom maps to play anyway. Oh, crap. Please tell me I have a rocket. Please tell me I have a rocket. Yes! No matter what game it is, the Archvile is always the most annoying enemy in the game. Second only to the Revenant. Both of those can fuck off. Alright, let's... Ooh, those rockets? Yeah, no. Missiles. Or missiles. I think he misspelled that. Or that could be missiles in Spanish. Or rockets in Spanish, for all I know. One moment. Okay, that's mostly English. Let's see. Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li. You know, Street Fighter has not had all that good of luck when it comes to movies. And it's one of those things where I'm not really sure why. The Street Fighter anime was pretty good. Or the animated film. It's like, you know, just make Ryu, or however the fuck you pronounce his name, AMD Ryzen, the main character, and just be done with it. That's what everybody really wants to see, if they even care about the characters at all. They always like to overcomplicate it with, like, crime plots and crap like that. The Street Fighter 90s film wasn't that bad. I mean, I know there's the famous Nostalgia Critic video, but let's be reasonable. The Street Fighter film was okay. You had Raul Julia, you had some decent lines from Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile. Because when I think Guile, I think him. You know, like, you had the boat, which was kind of neat, but it's one of those things. It was a very early 90s kind of thing. At least there wasn't a Donkey Kong film. Can you imagine what that would have been like? A Donkey Kong live-action film. Probably go over about as well as the Sonic film. Now, there was a Donkey Kong animated series. It wasn't that bad from what I recall, although I remember nothing about it other than that it existed. Let's see. I think Punk Junk is doing his best to troll. So, because it was in 2015. But then again, I think he already knows that. It's actually a fairly lengthy mod. I would have thought it had been over by now. It's a fairly lengthy level. That's why I'm glad I keep quick saving. Because I'd hate to have to redo this thing. Save again. Oh, really? You could have put him right on the door. That's bullshit. Also, oh my god, lava! Because when I think lava, I think hell. Now, in the Doom novelizations, the various sludge and, like, lava, it's like, what's kind of funny about novelizations of just about anything is they try to make it a little more realistic. And so, like, Doom Guy in that is like, lava would be too hot for me to walk over. It would actually burn me, and that's true. So it must not be real. Also, the novels introduce Arlene Sanders, Doom Girl. And thankfully, this is pre-feminist, so she's not annoying in any way, shape, or form, and is actually quite cool of a character. Back when female characters could be cool, and not just, you know, cardboard cutouts. For the feminazis. And we are getting close to the end, I think. I imagine the final boss will be the Cyber Demon, and either A, we have to shoot him, or B, we have to use the, Soul Cube. Oh, Yui Bowl. Resident Evil The Final Chapter is way... You know, I've never actually seen Resident Evil... I haven't seen anything beyond... Kate in Gears of War 4 and 5. You know, I haven't played the latter-day Gears of War. But, also, we're in... I guess this is hell. It's not the cleanest burning hell, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I've not seen any of the Resident Evil films past Resident Evil 2. Because the whole idea of, you know, there's this post-apocalyptic thing just seems really, really stupid. And the only reason I really liked Resident Evil 2 at all, also minecart ride? The minecarts in Donkey Kong are much harder than I remembered. I recently did a playthrough of Donkey Kong Country, and by God, it took forever to beat that bloody stage. I mean, it's like, your timing has to be almost 100% perfect to actually complete that goddamn thing. Also, why is there a minecart in hell? It's like the devil just, you know, he doesn't feel like walking anymore. He just wants to fucking ride. Let's see. Animation, the visuals are a pain to watch. Citizen Kane. That's the problem, though. Female characters in so many things have been ruined. I mean, no one used to draw attention to the fact that, you know, Jill Valentine was female. And the whole Forces female crap is also a load of shit as well. It's a load of shit because when you look at, like, the EU, there's all sorts of female characters and nobody cared. Literally, no one cared. It just, that's where you've got all the pandering. And I'm being shot by everything. It's like these guys take just enough damage, and they're just far enough away that the plasma rifle is the only way to go. When it comes to Doom wads, though, the original Doom, one of the weirdest ones I ever encountered was a slash pole Doom wad. It was quite an interesting experience, to say the least. It's something not to look up for the faint of heart. I'll tell you that. And yes, Donkey Kong Country 2 was amazing, but I didn't like the stage design nearly as well. And I did not like how difficult it was. It was just on the wrong side of difficulty. At least for me. It's like, it would have been completely impossible without save states. Completely impossible. And, I have not played Donkey Kong 3, though. I probably should at some point, but I've never actually gotten around to playing that. Let's see here. Donkey Kong Country 2. I've not seen any reviews on the latter-day Resident Evils. Those films just look so... They look a lot like... That's a weird button. They look a lot like, you know, Sci-Fi Channel original films, which I can't stand. I know that for whatever reason people really like the, Holy crap, what's that? It's actually a new enemy. Let's see, how long have I been going? I've been going an hour. I'm actually getting somewhat fatigued, so I'll try to go on a little longer. Might actually split this into a second live stream. The levels in this are actually getting better and better as time goes along. I mean, I'm really impressed with what this modder has done. I mean, yeah, some of the English is a little dodgy, but yeah, that's half the fun anyway. Some of the enemy placement could be a little bit better. But overall, this is actually pretty good. I wouldn't say this is quite commercial quality, or at least classic commercial quality, but it's up there. This is actually much better than I expected. I don't know when I'd actually get around to playing this again, though, just because there is Wolfenstein to consider, but this is really good. So, I definitely recommend checking this out. This is Doom 3 Pray for Pain. You can find it on ModDB. Getting it to work is easy enough. You just pop it in the main Doom 3 folder, and that's really it. There's no real extremely difficult installation instructions or anything like that. I'll try to finish this level, even though I am getting kind of tired. As stated. That's the one problem going solo. It's just, I'm the only one that can talk. Because everybody's fucking gone. They've left me all alone. Conker's Bad Fur Day. You know, I've never played that. Although I have heard of it. Star Fox film. Oh man, that's not... That would never turn out well. You know, a lot of people really like the Dark Crystal. You know, they really like that film. I never cared for it. Not even as a kid. The Dark Crystal actually is the very first DVD I ever saw. It was the late 90s. My grandfather had a really nice laptop for the time. It was this giant, chunky affair. And he had just got a DVD player. It's like, cutting edge, man! And the first DVD was Dark Crystal. He's a big fan of that. I'm not really sure why. I never liked it. Then again, I'm not a big fan of, like, stuff like that. It's just not my thing. I wasn't a fan of it then, and I'm not a fan of it now. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it's not for me. That's really kind of how I break down certain things. It's like, I know it's objectively not that bad, but I also know that I don't like it. And so I'm not a very good... You wouldn't want to ask me my opinion of, like, a Disney film, because I don't like Disney films in general, so my review would be, I hate it, but it's a competent film? Quest 64. You know, I've never actually played that, but I do know it exists. I've played a little bit of Doom 2, the Master Levels, but I never really liked Doom 2 that much, so that's one of those other things that would kind of be lost on me. Is this going to take me all the way back to where I started? No, yeah, it did. These are actually some really, really nice levels. I mean, the layouts are really quite well done. Oh, God. This is going to be a long level, isn't it? And I'm already tired. It's like, I need 2 keys, and I haven't even found the first one yet. Alright, let's go back in. Ah, there's the door. Maybe that's the door. Maybe... yeah, that's not the door. Okay, I must have missed something. At least that's what I'm going to assume I did. Even the Disney Renaissance stuff I don't particularly like. Disgusting Cats movie? I have not. I don't really want to see it. It's like cats, some kind of play, you know, it's like that, yeah, I'll pass on, like, all of that. So, like, I never was a particularly big fan of plays either, so, yeah. Stage productions or something I've never really sat through. It's kind of like musicals. You never want me to review a musical because I don't like musicals. Okay, I'm going to search for the key a little bit more. I think I've... okay, that's still locked. For me, I feel like I've searched everywhere I could possibly be. Or oh! That did something, I guess. It's one of those problems where mods can get a little too esoteric for their own good. Just a little, because I thought like that was a door I'd have to open up. But it's not, apparently. It's also... you also shouldn't ask me to review chick flicks. Because chick flicks... I've seen a few chick flicks in my day. Not many, but some. There's actually a few good chick flicks, I will admit, though. Like Warm Bodies. If you've got a chick and you want to show them a flick, show them that, because it's actually a tolerable chick flick. It's a zombie chick flick film, no less. that I don't want to spoil it, but basically, it's zombieism is cured by the power of love. And I actually did watch that, and I found it to be remotely entertaining. It was surprisingly good. And there's some like stealth chick flicks that I've seen, like World War II films are a genre that I happen to like quite a bit. And there was one stealth World War II or one stealth chick flick that's a World War II film. It has some weird title. It's like Sweet Frenchies, something along that. Sweet Frenchies, we'll call it that. It looked like it was going to be a World War II film, and it was, but by God, it was a chick flick. It was the chickiest. It wasn't the chickiest chick flick that ever chicked it up, but it was close to being one. Basically, it's set during the occupation of France. You got the chick for the flick, and she, of course, falls in love with one of the German occupiers, who, of course, just happens to be the one nice one. And I was not expecting chick flick, but it's what I got. And surprisingly, it was pretty good. If you have Netflix, it's on that. I actually would recommend it if you can stomach the chick flickiness, which I was able to, and if I can, surely just about anyone can. Star Wars Connect, huh? I'm going to review that next month. I'm not sure how long that review is going to be, because there's only so much I can say about Solo. Ugh. But yeah, that sweet... Ugh, it's a French title. Was surprisingly well done. But by God, that was a chick flick, though. Ending was a bit open-ended, but, I lived with it. Come on, grab it! Aha! You can't... Oh, they can't get me. They've learned to block doors! But the one thing I've always found kind of funny about chick flicks, though, is that they always kind of have the same plot. They're almost as bad as teen romances, in a way. Or teen romance books, especially the paranormal ones. One of these days, I'm going to need to review a teen romance book. I might actually have to review Twilight one day, because that's like the worst of the worst. But I imagine there have to be some teen romance books that aren't all shit. One of the things I used to like to do back in the day is go to Barnes & Noble and just kind of like riff some of the teen romances, because by God, they're terrible. And a lot of the, for whatever reason, some of them get turned into films that are somewhat successful, that are all pretty much just as cringy as you would expect. Because you're like, so bad it's good, it's fine, but so bad it's cringy can get really bad. I don't know if that's a missing texture or if that's a secret. Alright, let's grab some more crap. Whatever a Salus implies. I would imagine Star Wars Masters of Takaraka would be better than that. I mean, it's a fighting game. It's kind of hard to mess it up. Actually, watch 90s Drive-In Massacre. I actually kind of like TNT Evolution a little better than Doom 2, just because it's not quite as long, at least as far as I can recall. I just never really liked Doom 2's level design. They used a lot of brown. I mean, that was sort of a forward-thinking thing, I suppose, but Doom 2, you know, it's just... I don't think I've finished Doom 2 nearly as much as Doom 1. Where's my rocket? Oh, frack. God damn it. No, I didn't save! Yes, another truck would be quite good. There is going to be a James Bond month, as soon as I have the time for it, where I will review at least one James Bond novel. I'm not sure which one it'll be. It might be Casino Royale, but I also really want to review a number of James Bond games, most notably GoldenEye. The World Is Not Enough, which was sort of like a sequel to GoldenEye, because it was a first-person shooter that was substantially more advanced than GoldenEye. And I also want to review From Russia with Love, where they actually get Connery back. That game isn't too bad, actually. It's a pretty... God damn, they just completely eradicated me there. Worst game, Battlefront 2, 2005. Yeah, that's a troll though, if ever there was one. One moment. Alright, so, I'm really glad I found this mod. This is actually quite fun. Oh, crap. Here I am, busy staring at the chat. I blame you, Epic Jason. It's your fault. Almost got me killed. How could you? Oh, on a car-related note, I just remembered this. I actually got to see a wreck today, right in front of me. Somebody made a left turn right in front of a big-ass truck. Nobody was hurt, and the cars, both cars appeared drivable. But it's like, come on, can't you look? Still though, I just, the lack of driving skill is real. I mean, these people, they cannot drive at all. It's like, how do you get your license? It's like, getting a driver's license isn't that easy. You have to take a driver's test. And they don't just give anybody a driver's license. Well, in Texas at least. In California, I guess they just hand them out to anybody, but still. It's like, my God, you know. And that wreck wasn't like bad, but man, it's gonna be expensive. The other thing I can't stand are people who rubberneck. You know, I saw the wreck, and you know what I did when they got out of my way? I kept driving. I didn't go, oh, how much is that going to cost? It's like, God damn, I hate it when people do that. Okay, I gotta admit, I'm kind of ragey when it comes to driving, because I have a fairly long commute, and I get to see the worst drivers imaginable at 5 in the goddamn morning. And it's like, you know, that is just... And the people who drive with their high beams on. I've complained about this in so many streams. I'm going to keep complaining about it because it keeps happening every goddamn day. And it's always the same kind of people who do it. It's big truck morons who don't know how to drive a big truck, who just drive around with their fucking high beams on when it's clearly light enough to see without them. And it's like... Why? Why do they do this? Why? Oh, it's painful. It's painful to have to deal with that every fucking day. And this asshole keeps fucking smacking me with his hentai tentacle. He's sexually harassing me. And remember, accusation is evidence. At least according to certain individuals. Come on, go down. There we go. And his AI is complete crap. Shit. These levels are really quite fun to fight through. I mean, this is some good stuff here. I think my phone went off, or I might just be imagining things. And I'm just imagining things. I'm literally going insane. Or was I already insane to begin with? The world may never know. Cram spaces. Battlefront, the new Battlefront 2 is better. And hello, Silver Wings. And yes, me too. Getting raped by the hentai tentacles. Well, that's gonna get demonetized, isn't it? My computer just made a sound, but I'm not sure why. Let's see. Okay, I see what it is. One moment. Okay, let's see. Where are we? But then again, I haven't played Final Doom in many, many years. Loot boxes. Yeah, you know what? You know, when I play this game, I would love for there to be a loot box. You know, where I could get like a new skin for the plasma rifle, and I'd like to pay, you know, like $5 per skin. Because I would like this to be, you know, like a bright orange skin with like a kill counter on it. Oh wait, that's fucking CS:GO. CS:GO, that's a game that evidently became bad, even though I didn't particularly like it that much to begin with. It's like, I never was into the whole competitive multiplayer gaming scene, so that was a game also. Best anti. Green plasma Architron style. It's like, oh yeah, you gotta pay like $10 for that. Oh, we actually got some platforming here. We got platforming. Alright. I think that's why the jump is so much higher. Alright, let's try it. And jump! Aha! We actually did it first try. That's a clean burn in hell, I'll tell you what. It's like, my god, that is so emo. I just... That is like the most emo crisp... Wow, some of the candles are floating. I like the new paint elemental. That is actually pretty impressive, even though it's just... Yeah, the mouth's a little wider. A little wider. Let's see, hold on. Alright, let's see. Bip. And I haven't even shaved. Hey, you know, getting a car is not always an easy prospect. But, god damn it. Okay, so I didn't die. Can I, like, go someplace here? No, it's just... Sorry, Doom 3 guy. And -1. I used to walk a lot when I lived in Utah, but Houston definitely needs a car. And I'm quite pleased to have a fine automotive mobile. If you want a cheap car, look at the Nissan Versa. Those things are actually quite good. And they actually are fairly speedy for what they are. And, most importantly, they get extremely good gas mileage. Extremely. Back when I had that old Blazer, gas would cost somewhere around $70 every 2 weeks. And it got horrible gas mileage. The Versa, on the other hand, you know, I can get a full tank of gas for like $20. It's like, that's just, and that'll last, and a full tank of gas will last 2 weeks. So it's like, it is an awesome thing, to say the least. It is quite good and turns me on. And there's a lot of moments where it's like, you know, that really is the benefit of having a small car. Because having a small car means finding a parking space is remarkably easy. Alright, hell. Oh, hell. Baron of Hell. Let's just introduce you to the rocket launcher. Make sure I'm not walking into an enemy. Debris removal, motherfucker. Debris removal! I used to do that with a rocket launcher in Minecraft. Oh, Minecraft. What hath happened? Hey, I don't have love handles. I work out way too much and don't eat anything good. So yeah, let me see here. Okay, we got an edgy McEdgenstein in here. That actually reminds me, you know, like, I actually did have a shitty emo phase at one point in my life. Yes, I will admit. And I was in my mid-20s. Oh, but at least it only lasted like a month. There actually does exist, and I mentioned this a lot, but I always... Whenever I think of something edgy, I think of that. Of me in a Lamb of God t-shirt with one of those little wrist things, whatever they're called, going to listen to some emo bands. Okay, speaking of emo bands, if you know nothing about emo, I would highly recommend looking up the song, and it'll be the most hilarious thing you have ever seen. Look up the song Razor's Edge by, and I'm not joking here, an artist known as William Control. Yes, William Control. And his image looks about as hilarious as the name is. And I actually did see this guy live. And he's about as hilarious as you would expect. And the fact is, stuff like this is taken utterly seriously now. I thought emo was more than it was, but I've actually done some research. Because yes, I did some research. Evidently, emo is just more of a clothing and music styling, you don't actually do anything altogether that different. Which I was kind of surprised by. To be perfectly honest. I thought like you had to talk a certain way. I guess it was just a media thing. Oh, something's gonna... Oh, crap, it's Mancubi. Is it Mancubuses or Mancubis? I can't tell. Alright, you fucking movie blob, and... I can't think of another... It's Movie Blob and Boogie 2986, or whatever the fuck his number is. I know nothing of either one of them, because I don't watch either one of their content. I assume it's bad. I'm just gonna make the assumption. Let's see. No, it wasn't a watch. It was a little, it was like some kind of little black thing with little circles on it. I don't even know what you'd call it. It's the emo band. It's the emo wristband. I knew so little about the whole emo culture thing. I had to ask, like, what do emo people dress like? It's like a band t-shirt and the wrist thing. I forget what it... I do not have a clue what that's called, though. I don't know. But it was a little... Really? What the hell? Shit. Do I have anything in... yeah, I do. But yeah, it was a little wrist strap thing. I don't know what that's called. And whatever that was, I had it. I think I still have the shirt and that. I've tried to find the shirt, but I can only assume it's in a box somewhere. Because I do want to make an emo joke at some point. Where, like, I turn emo. I kind of do, like, the thing from... Oh, crap. That hurt a lot. Okay, let me... Yes, I'm going to save. But I just cannot find that bloody shirt. Now, that actually does remind me of something. I do intend to do, like, an emo-styled review of an emo kind of game. Darkness 1 is kind of an emo game. And it was only ever released on consoles. And so I had to rebuy it. Let's grab it just so I can do video game showcase. I think that's it. No, that's... Is that it? No. Okay, that's it. I keep getting my army of twos. Alright, there we go. Darkness. I got this back when the Xbox 360 came out. And this isn't a bad game. It's kind of obscure now because it was never ported to the PC. It's a first-person shooter with some Darkness powers and stuff like that. It's actually a little bit better than Darkness 2. But one of the funny things about this game is it was very much a next-gen kind of concept. You could do things in this game that you don't really find today. In the game here, you play as Jackie Estacado, and he has the Darkness, which is basically these little griblets he can shoot out and things of that nature. And in the game, he's got a girlfriend. And, like, in the game, especially early on, you can, like, do stuff with the girlfriend character. Like, sit down and watch a movie, and the entire film, To Kill a Mockingbird, is in the game. Like, you could literally sit there, in the game, watching a movie. It was like a real next-gen concept that, you know, they never really did it ever again, and I can see why, because, like, how many people actually sat through that? How much did they pay to get that? Well, that was really stupid. That was a disaster. Let's run it again. Let's see. Having original pieces, industrial music. I've never really been a big fan of anything like that. I'm just a classic rock snob, if ever there was one. For me, I just listen to stuff like Judas Priest and Sabaton these days. You know, like, for me, there really is no bad Judas Priest song. I actually kind of listen... I listen to Judas Priest almost, like, every day. Even their new stuff is still pretty good. Even when modern music is pretty crap. I think this might be the last level. This feels big enough to be a last level. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to call it a day just because I've been going an hour and a half and my throat feels bad. So ultimately, that is Doom 3 Pray for Pain. I may come back to it at some point in the future. After Wolfenstein, just have to see. But it is definitely a mod I highly recommend checking out. And so, I am General Lotz, let's find the old mouse cursor here. And I'm going to wish you good. Oh, wow. My mouse cursor is still in the game, and so I'm looking at it in the stream, and so I'm kind of confused which mouse cursor it actually is. So, anyway, I'm General Lotz. Wish you good. Doom 3. Whatever. Make sure you